Welcome back to Skyways to Highways, where we are going to go over our May versus June budget so far since hitting the road from St. Petersburg, Florida to Alaska and traveling all throughout Alaska. My name is Christy.
I'm Fred, and this is Goldie.
May's total was $5,975. June's total was $5,401, and I did not see this coming. First up is groceries versus restaurants. You have to eat, right? May's total, as you can see here, is for groceries is $763. Restaurants was $705, and the total was $1,468 for food for the month of May. Now, we did not hit Alaska until June. But check this out. We actually spent less. We didn't eat less, but we spent less. The hype about all groceries being more expensive in Alaska is somewhat true.
Yes, it is. And now for fuel, I knew it was going to be expensive because all the fuel prices went through the roof after the war with Iran, and they're still pretty high, especially when you get farther up north and in through Canada. With the prices of diesel and regular car gas, it was quite expensive, and that all jacked up in price with the Iranian conflict that's still ongoing. But we got a discount on diesel. We use the Open Roads card, and we stop at all the commercial truck stops. If you go to a Love's or even a Circle K, they'll have like a little island off to normally in the back that just caters to truckers and also with RV. We've saved probably a few $100s over the course of this trip so far. One in particular was up here in Alaska, in Wasilla, is the only gas station that's in Alaska. It was $1.54 savings per gallon, so I made sure I topped off. We've got 90-gallon tanks in the big rig. Another interesting fact with DEF, or DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, our rig here burns a little bit more than I would say maybe like a Chevy, Dodge, or Ford diesel truck does per gallon or per mileage. But that's okay. Great tip is to go to Walmart, just buy the generic brand. And believe it or not, there's Walmarts all over the place, so it's not that hard to find one. As for gasoline for the Jeep, we only get about 20 miles a gallon, maybe 22 sometimes if farting around town and whatnot. But nevertheless, that burns a lot of gas. And as you know, the price of regular 87 octane is pretty high. I think at one place we paid $5.74 a gallon for 87 octane. So our gas prices were quite high, but we knew that going into this. We left knowing that gas was going to go through the roof with the war ongoing. So that's just part of the cost of this.
And next up is campgrounds. Well, we need somewhere to stay, right? So May versus June, as you can see the totals here, we actually spent more in June than we did in May, as you can see. Now, it is nearly tied, not too much of a difference here. We are definitely hoping next year as we get everything situated. It's chapter 1, year 1 on our big adventure, but we hope to definitely be boondocking a lot more next year. And of course, this budget sheet here, this is going to be, everybody's spending is going to be different, right? No, there's no two people that are going to spend the same amount. So interesting here though, the cheapest stay in June was $35 a night. And that was in Girdwood. That was actually our first night boondocking. I could show some clips here. It was super peaceful. We absolutely loved it. And that just put a really good taste in our mouth too, that we really can boondock, not just by having a super upgraded solar system, even though more to come on that. We may be upgrading this winter.
We will be. I was hesitant about really doing some boondocking more than a day or two, only because I really don't know with these lead acid batteries that runs the coach, all the appliances and whatnot. So we were pretty careful. We turned off the Starlink and we turned off everything that didn't need electricity while we were sleeping. We didn't have a problem. First thing in the morning, it was pretty cold, so we just jumped on the generator and started heating the house. And of course, that started charging the batteries immediately.
Which leads us into our next topic, Starlink. Well, you have to work from home. Or if you do work from home or you work from the road, you need some sort of Wi-Fi coverage. For the most part, we have not lost service throughout this entire road trip. Now, while we're driving, yes, definitely. We have reached in a lot of places in Canada, especially where it was satellite only. But for the most part, Starlink has been somewhat reliable. And if anybody has any other options out there, definitely let us know. Drop that in the comments because we are all ears when it comes to saving money on our internet bill. But as you can see here, the startup hardware and setup was $365 for the one-time fee. And it's interesting. So it's our first 2 months, right? Looking towards May and looking towards June. So May's bill was $230. We used 650 gigabits of data. We originally signed up for the 500 gigabits of data, and we actually had to add $25 for 50 gigabits. So it gave us it increased our data use up to 150. So that's why that's 650. Now, the current plan that we're on is 500 gigs per month. So we already paid an extra $150 the first month. We ended up using the 650 gigs. And then in June, if you can see the June 28th bill, you're going to see that we increased it even more. We're working from home. We're creating YouTube channels. We're creating content. We're uploading constantly. We are definitely using this data, even though, like Fred said, we do turn it off at night. So it doesn't run throughout the night. And we lose it a lot while driving too. But just to keep this in mind here, our June 28th bill was $255. And that's after me calling to ask for a credit because we did go all the way up to 856 gigabits of data in the month of June. Now, I did call them because I increased our bill from 500 gigabits to 1 terabit, seeing how I took the both month averages and we're just under 1 terabit of data. So we'll definitely keep you posted and let you know what this month turns out to, but it's looking like it's going to be about $280 a month moving forward.
Apps and memberships. As you can see on the chart, we went a little overboard on all these apps and memberships. The one we used the most so far was Good Sam's, and we have used KOAs a lot because they have dog parks and full hookups. We've been kind of a little spoiled with the full hookups, but more boondocking on this trip to come. But the one I forgot to mention for the fuel, I did earlier, but the open roads, it's about $20 a year. I used a credit card to sign up. Well, you're paying all those merchant account fees, which add up, especially if you're spending $200, $300, $400 on diesel, which I was. You're still getting the savings off the price per gallon, but you're also paying for these fees. So I called up Open Roads. I tied it into my bank account. So now there's no fees involved. Of course, it's a greater savings, and it comes straight out of my checking account every time we fill up. So far, that was another savings that I got on that deal.
Nobody's budget is going to be perfect. No two people have saved the same. No two people's journeys are going to be the same. However, if we had a little bit more of an idea or transparency as far as maybe some different categories or how to track this better, or if you're brand new and still dreaming of the RV life or planning your retirement one day or just planning to see if this is something that you can actually do. I'm going to post the QR code right here. I created a budgeting planner. Super easy, just plug and play. It does all the math and all the numbers itself. Hopefully this helps in your planning moving forward.
And don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and forward to a friend.
Be sure to drop us any comments and let us know who you are and where you're from.
And we'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching.